We're back at Bathurst, warming up for the Nations Cup race. This is a reverse grid, and once again, rain tormenting the circuit here. 6 Porsches, 5 Vipers among the 20 entries, 8 different manufacturers, and Jimmy Richards and Paul Stokel doubling up here on what will be an awesome FAI 1000 tomorrow. Your commentators, Craig Denyer, Greg Rust and Craig Lowndes.
Thanks, Woodsy, and you're quite right. The weather hasn't let up now for 6 days. A reverse grid, 7-lapper, John Tulin, Darcy Russell on the front row, Ken Matthews, Brian Thompson, row 2, Jeff Morgan in the Viper. On row 3 alongside Tony Quinn in a Porsche GT3, then it's Rusty French and Mark Noski.
Back to row 5, Matt Coleman, first time in Nations Cup in the Porsche GT3, alongside Christian Jones in the Ferrari. Then Jimmy Richards, the current champ, Mark Williamson in the Porsche alongside him. Then Peter Bradbury, Peter Fitzgerald currently running second in the championship, Paul Stokel in the Lamborghini, then Rick Shaw.
And Stuart Gagg and Ian Palmer at the back of the field. Also joining them, Jamie Cartwright in the Toyota Supra.
Yes, Cartwright had problems yesterday with a broken differential. Cartwright's car did very, very well here last year in the 3-hour showroom showdown, been now upgraded to Nations Cup specifications, and will start from the back of the grid.
We get set for a start here in wet conditions. Craig Lowndes, you could put a bit of money on the GTR with its 4-wheel drive coming to the fore.
Well, you would think so. It's the only car out there is 4-wheel drive, and you know, in these slippery conditions, that will come into a play. And really, I wouldn't like to be out there at the moment with these guys.
Should be a fabulous race too with Paul Stokel, the winner of yesterday's race, right down the field, almost set for a start.
Getting ready here at the mountain as Nations Cup is away. Good start by Tulin. Russell boxed down on the line. Look at them fighting their way through the field already. Some of the guys at the back, but Tulin will lead them for the first time as they sweep into Hell Corner. Russell settles into second place. Morgan is up to third. And look at the guys at the back. Jim Richards fighting his way through. So too is Peter Fitzgerald.
And what a great start for John Tulin. That 4-wheel drive Nissan Skyline well and truly got away.
Problems for Darcy Russell there. He's slowing.
Rusty French has rounded him up. Christian Jones just behind him. Jamie Cartwright also coming through in what are very, very difficult conditions, Craig Lowndes.
Well, it is. You see a lot of spray coming off these cars. The window wipers are working pretty bad. Actually, I would have thought the Nissan would have got a better break off the line from that being a 4-wheel drive. But as you can see, the guys are just tiptoeing around this circuit. Just getting a little bit out of shape as they go up the mountain.
To change of place up in front there, Craig.
Yeah.
Jeff Morgan has taken the lead. Tony Quinn has come through into second position as well. So Tulin has fallen back to third.
I'd say the real mover is Mark Noski. He's in the different coloured Ferrari, the fluoro orange type Ferrari, same colour as the Ferrari Formula 1 cars. First time Noski's actually driven this car in race. He's practiced and qualified it a number of times, and he's actually moved well and truly forward. Started back there in 8th spot, had a fairly ordinary run yesterday, got caught up and went off when he was dancing with Peter Fitzgerald, but certainly he'll have the race pace this time around.
It's the newest car in the Prancing Horse stable. Doing a great job of it at the moment. Out in front, Jeff Morgan, multiple Porsche Cup champion, have moved away from his lengthy association with Porsche and stepped up to a Dodge Viper for the Nations Cup Championship in season 2000.
7 laps, the second last race of the Century Batteries GDP Nations Cup Championship. One more race here at Mount Panorama tomorrow morning as they start to thread their way down the mountain. Mark Noski, as you can see on the screen now, Jimmy Richards leading Maguire's Top Marks Drivers Championship on 201 points. He's pretty much wrapped it up. Peter Fitzgerald second on 153, Noski third on 140. So it'll be interesting to see this weekend that Noski can actually overtake Fitzy for second in the series.
Craig, what's it like as they come down Conrod for the first time? Treacherous conditions. You can see the spray and the water coming off the back of the cars. How nervous will some of these guys be, particularly with the faster guys coming through?
Well, it'll be very interesting. Obviously, a lot of spray. It's nice to be out in front where you've got a clean windscreen, but also you're the first guy to approach any water or any little rivers that run across this circuit, which there is quite a number. But as you can see there, Noski has really climbed up through the field. He's pretty well out and clear. Jimmy's obviously looking for a manoeuvre around here somewhere. Wouldn't be surprised on the brakes down into the last corner here.
Running on the outside of Matt Coleman, who dives down the inside of the Porsche GT3. So a good move for Coleman.
Tell you what there, he got absolutely squeezed, Rusty French, because Jimmy came around him on the outside as well.
Just showed you how good these Porsches are under brakes, particularly in conditions like this.
Morgan leading the way.
Yeah, good effort from Jeff Morgan. As again we watch Jimmy Richards and Matt Coleman side by side through Hell Corner.
Jimmy is the man, as Craig mentioned, who has sewn up this championship. He's won a great many things in his time. 6 times a winner here on the mountain, Jim Richards.
And this is a great drag race. You see Jimmy, the two Porsches and this Viper, this V10, just looking for try and find a way around these two Porsches.
Amazing array
now coming under siege.
Amazing array of cars in this category. V6s in the Honda, V8s in the Ferrari, V10 in the Viper, V12 in the Lamborghini.
Jimmy has now found a way around Chulin. It looks as though, well, Matty Coleman got squeezed there in the process. French is alongside them. This is going to be quite interesting as they come into the cutting.
Yes, they're getting pretty busy back there. Christian Jones, Peter Bradbury in the TNT Porsche, then Paul Stokel sitting behind these two in the Wilkins and Sword Lamborghini. Look at the Helix replay of the Tony Quinn incident, coming up the speed stick corner, and you can see just had the wheel out on the white line. And that was enough, Craig Lowndes, to turn him around.
Well, it was. It's definitely not a place to be. The street circuits are bad enough in the wet, and really we all complain about those white lines, so it's very unfortunate for that.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there between Matthew Coleman and the Lamborghini Diablo of Stokel as he tries to muscle past John Chulin as well, and he's managed to do that. So Stokel is continuing to climb up now into 5th position.
Yeah, that's a good effort from Stokel. Remember, he started back in 15th, so he's picked up 10 spots. 3 laps down of this 7-lap race, the second last race in the Century Batteries GDP Nations Cup Championship.
Busy weekend for Stokel as well, teaming up in the Supercheap Autos Ford for the FAI 1000. And a busy time at the Queensland 500 as well. Did a double stint as Coleman comes down the inside of John Chulin, who is being quite tentative with his Nissan GTR despite its 4-wheel drive advantage. He's just taking it fairly conservatively.
Now Bradbury also starting to move forward as well. Christian Jones, who was caught out in qualifying with the wrong tyre combination, so started well back for yesterday's race.
Fitzgerald is right at the back of that pack as well. So this is playing right into Mark Noski's hands. Noski sitting in 2nd position. There's Peter Fitzgerald. That was the battle Craig was talking about before for 2nd place in the championship.
Yes, this is going to be very, very interesting. Fitzy on 153 points, Noski on 140. Jimmy's wrapped up the title on 201. Stokel in 4th spot in the championship on 128 points. Then Bradbury on screen at the moment in the TNT Porsche on 101 points back there in 5th spot.
Yellow flags being waved there, Craigs. That's the reason why no one has made any passing moves. Now we hear from the pits that the safety car may be out on the circuit. Indeed it is.
So I guess this is to remove the Tony Quinn Porsche GT3 from speed stick.
Now Christian Jones having a go down the inside here of Mark Williamson, and a bit of a touch as well. Now, wonder if the officials will have something to say about that.
I'd say probably Mark Williamson may not have seen the safety car board, and or I should say Christian Jones may not have seen it. Williamson's backed off, but yeah, quite tight there too.
Now, if he doesn't now let them back past or get back into their sort of configuration, he'll be black flagged. He'll be. It's one of those unfortunate situations where I guess at certain times you can unfortunately not see the flags in certain areas, but that will definitely have to be rectified before they restart this race again.
Well, good chance for Noski now that he sits in 2nd place with the safety car out on the circuit. Morgan leads the way. The champion Jimmy Richards in 3rd position. Then it's Stokel, Matty Coleman, Rusty French, Peter Bradbury and John Chulin.
Mark Williamson, Christian Jones, Peter Fitzgerald, Darcy Russell, Stuart Gagg, Ken Matthews, Rick Shaw and Brian Thompson round out the rest of the field.
Still under yellow, but not for long, we hope, as we get ready to resume the Nations Cup race here at Mount Panorama.
That's a scary sight.
Exceptional, yeah, it is, isn't it? An exceptional weather continues. We have rain in some parts of the circuit, not in others. Broken sky ahead of us and thick cloud behind us. Plenty of water on the circuit, though.
Interesting when you look, we've got 4 different manufacturers in the top 4. Jeff Morgan in the Viper, then Nosk in the Ferrari, Richards in the Porsche, and Stokel in the Lamborghini.
Safety car pulls off. We are set to resume racing here at Mount Panorama. Jeff Morgan leading the way in the Dodge Viper from Mark Noski. And there's the man who's set to capitalise on all of this, Peter Fitzgerald.
Morgan coming down into Hill Corner for the first time since the safety car's pulled off. Stokel still a very, very quick mover in the Lamborghini. Chulin in the 4-wheel drive Skyline. Should perhaps have done a little bit better in these wet conditions. Under a fair bit of pressure from Christian Jones in the Ferrari.
Just to let you know too, we've had 2 laps under safety car during the course of the ad break, so you may notice in the top left of your screen there that this originally 7-lap race has now been increased to 9 laps. Morgan leading the way from the Diablo of Paul Stokel.
Yeah, Stokel's moved up to second now.
Place.
Noski 3rd. And considering Stokel's quite large win yesterday, he's in pretty good shape even in these wet conditions, Craig.
Well, it is. It's something that's, you know, I guess for the guys, Noski and Peter Fitzgerald running, you know, trying to clinch that second position in the championship. Mark Noski, I would have thought, actually would have approached. Everyone got to remember, on this restart, no one can overtake anyone until they cross that start-finish line. So, you know, obviously Stokel here has got something a little bit special than everyone else at the moment. He's pressuring away.
To take this one out, Morgan in second place, and he's got a good couple of car legs too on Mark Noski. Given the wet conditions, it might be difficult for Noski to get past.
Yeah, good drive for Jeff Morgan. I think he's done very, very well. Let's have a look at the replay. This is Rick Shaw taking over the Dodge Viper of Mike Conway for the weekend. Looks like it's a typical Dodge problem. Run off with no brakes, or brakes that won't stop you in these conditions at the end of the straight.
Actually, this is probably a little bit frustrating for these guys, because they probably would have restarted this race probably thinking or having the understanding that it would have gone or had the extra laps added.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether the you know, the prancing horse of Mark Noski, whether he would have pushed a bit harder if he'd known this was the last lap. It'd be very interesting to maybe see what they say for obviously for tomorrow's race. Well,
yesterday's race, he and Fitzy had a tremendous battle, and Mark actually went off trying to get around Fitzy, so they're taking this right down to the wire. Fitzy 154 points at the moment in second spot in the championship. Noski on 150.
Good job there by young Matthew Coleman in fifth position. Has had a variety of drives in the last 12 months or so. Campaigned an Audi Super Touring car for the Brad Jones Racing team. Has driven a couple of rounds this year in the Colour Scan Ford in the Shell Championship Series, and recently at the Sandown round jumped into GTP with a vengeance in a Porsche.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well, mate. We think he'll be a great bonus to the series next year. He's come out of karts, been around for a long time. His father Alan has been involved in motor racing for many, many years too, so they'll be a very formidable force.
Well, Stokel is on course to take this one out, has a massive lead over Jeff Morgan. Will Mark Noski make a last corner lunge as they come down into Murray's corner for the final time? There's our leader. Stokel will take this one out. A fantastic performance. Won yesterday's race, has done the same thing from the rear of the grid here today. A great performance. Morgan hangs on for second position, just ahead of Noski. Jim Richards in fourth. And Matthew Coleman rounding out the top five.
Yeah, great result for Paul Stokel in the Lamborghini Diablo SVR. 2 out of 2 on really a track, Craig Lowndes, that should have suited that car perhaps more than any other in the field. Maybe other than Jeff Morgan's Dodge Viper. Well,
I would have thought so. It's something that's, you know, being a four-wheel drive, obviously, you know, the six-cylinder twin-turbo thing, obviously very awkward to get off of it. But the four-wheel drive, I would have thought, coming off, getting exit off these corners, would have played a bigger part in the two-wheel drive cars.
Got to say, I'm surprised too that Peter Fitzgerald didn't come further up through the field. He's obviously taken it very easy, a conservative approach. 154 points he's on at the moment versus Noski's 150, so a 4-point gap between the two as we head into tomorrow's grand final. Should say a quick thank you as well to Craig Lowndes. Thanks for joining us in commentary today, mate.
Thank you.
And best of luck in tomorrow's FAI 1000 here at Mount Panorama Bathurst.
In the Dodge Viper, then Mark Noski in the Ferrari. Jimmy Richards in fourth, Matt Coleman fifth, Rusty French in sixth, Peter Bradbury seventh, Christian Jones, good effort, in eighth spot.
Don't forget the grand final of Nations Cup coming your way tomorrow, right here on Network 10.